They are seeing us at the forum, eh? Are they seeing us, eh? All right. Okay.
Good evening, members of the African Democratic Congress Diaspora Network, ADCDN. Good evening, distinguished viewers at home and abroad. My name is Stephen Adeoye. I am the Managing Director of Zukunft for das Leben GUG in Bielefeld, Germany. I am the chairman of the ADCDN Board of Trustees. In 2022, I contested at the Ekiti State ADC governorship primary. Welcome to the ADCDN Global Press Conference taking place live in Hamburg, Germany. On the 11th of April 2026, the African Democratic Congress Diaspora Network, ADCDN, convened a global leadership session, bringing together representatives from across its 5 continental regions: Africa, Europe, the Americas, Asia, and the Middle East. This session was held at a pivotal moment for the future of the party and Nigeria's democracy. ADCDN leaders also remain active stakeholders in their respective Nigerian states and world. The chairman of ADCDN, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Gbandi, will address this global press conference, presenting the position of ADCDN on leadership, legitimacy, and the future of democratic credibility in Nigeria. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Kenneth Gbandi.
Thank you, Dr. Stephen Adeoye, Chairman, Board of Trustee, ADCDN. Good evening, viewers, both in the diaspora and in Nigeria. My name is Kenneth Chibogo Gbandi, the Chairman of the African Democratic Congress Diaspora Network, ADCDN, which is the diaspora arm of ADC Nigeria, normally referred to as the 7th geopolitical zone. Until 2025, I was the Deputy National Chairman, ADC, under the leadership of Chief Ralph Oke Nwosu, under which leadership ADCDN was visioned and created. As already hinted by the ADCDN Chairman Board of Trustee, the ADCDN 5 zones from Asia, Europe, America, Oceania, and Africa met to deliberate on the current issues in Nigeria. And following this extensive deliberation, we came to a final position regarding the leadership crisis in Nigeria and the intervention of INEC. We took a soul-searching, tracing the formation of the ADCDN under the visionary leadership of Chief Ralph Oke Nwosu. We looked at the provisions as enshrined in the Constitution and also the role we have played since the inception of ADC-DN, and we came to the following conclusion. 1. Commitment to the unity and founding principles of African Democratic Congress, ADC. The ADC-DN reaffirms its unwavering commitment to the unity of the party and the preservation of its founding value, inclusion, fairness, and justice, which we regard as the ADC DNA. We remain dedicated to strengthening the ADC as a credible platform for democratic renewal in Nigeria. 2. Concern over process and emerging legitimacy questions in Nigeria. The ADC-DN notes with concern the sequence of events following the public resignation of our founding chairman, Chief Ralph Oke Nwosu, who led the National Working Committee, NWC, and subsequent reconstitution of the ADC-DN leadership under the distinguished Senator David Mark. While acknowledging the ongoing legal processes and noting growing concern regarding the role of INEC, we emphasize that legitimacy must be grounded in due process, transparency, and constitutional order. Any deviation from these principles risks undermining internal trust and the party's public credibility. 3. Position on inclusion and representation. The African Democratic Congress Diaspora Network, ADC-DN, expresses strong reservations regarding the current National Convention list and the previous committee compositions, which do not adequately reflect the constitutional status of the diaspora as the 7th geopolitical zone. Accordingly, ADC-DN calls for equitable representation across all party structures and committee in Nigeria, full recognition of the diaspora as a strategic and integral stakeholders as enshrined in the party constitution as amended. Inclusion is not optional. It is fundamental to the party's integrity and future. 4, adherence to party constitution and internal democracy. The ADC Diaspora Network calls on all party organs, including the National Working Committee, NWC, and the National Executive Committee, NEC, to strictly uphold internal democracy and effective dispute resolution mechanism, transparency and accountability in all the processes they are taking, and due process in all decision and appointment. These are not procedural ideas. They are the foundation of a credible political party which ADC-DN represents. 5, strategic engagement pending legal clarification. The African Diaspora Network DN, ADC Diaspora Network DN, will maintain constructive peace building and responsible engagement while closely monitoring developments, particularly in the light of the pending court judgment. We remain committed to fairness, equity, and dialogue over division, while retaining the resolve to defend the integrity of the party where necessary. 6, diaspora role in 2027 electoral process. The ADC-DN reiterates that the diaspora remains a strategic pillar of the party's global strength and credibility. We therefore insist on a transparent, credible, and inclusive primary process, full and meaningful participation of ADCDN in the 2027 general election. A process that reflects the collective will of the party members across. At this junction, I must reemphasize that as members of African Democratic Congress, ADCDN, are all also card-carrying members of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, in Nigeria, both at the state and at the local government level. Number 7, we call for responsible and inclusive leadership. ADCDN urges all stakeholders to act with restraint, responsibility, and foresight, placing the long-term strength of the party above short-term interest. Unity must be built on fairness. Inclusion must be backed by action. Only through this can AD sustain its credibility as a true alternative in Nigeria's democratic space. In conclusion, the African Democratic Congress Diaspora Network, ADCDN, spanning Africa, Europe, the Americas, Asia and Middle East, and the Oceania and the Pacific, stands firm in its commitment to defend the constitution of the party, promoting equity and inclusion, strengthening democratic processes within ADC. This is the defining moment, not only for the ADC but for Nigeria, but for also the future of democratic opposition in Nigeria. The choices made now will shape both credibility and the consequences. This is the position of the African Democratic Congress Diaspora Network, ADC-DN. We hope that various press and media organizations, both in the diaspora and in Nigeria, who have joined us, will stay behind for a few more minutes and to see whether we have any question from the media observers and media partners who has joined us for this global media conference. Excellency Stephen Adioye, I hope the position we have referred reflects the communication and the brainstorming section held in the last emergency meeting.
Yes, it does.
Thank you, sir. And so Johnny and the rest of the media partners who are also monitoring this process, both in the studio and in Nigeria, we are open for any question if there is any urgent issues that need to be addressed. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Johnny, studio and teams, do you have anybody in the audience that wants to put up a question across? Otherwise, we will consider it at the end of our special media briefing. The copy of the resolution and the communique will be sent out through our Director of Communication, Director of Media and Communication, Honorable Mark. He will be able to distribute the hard copy and the e-copy of the resolution as soon as this evening, latest tomorrow morning. And His Excellency, what have you been hearing from Nigeria, from your constituency, regarding the ongoing issues in Nigeria?
Yes, it has been issues that have raised a lot of concern. In Ekiti State, for example, we are having a governorship election in June 2026. And so the issue that is coming up in leadership in ADC must be resolved in order to give the people confidence that the governorship, the candidate who has the ADC, who is a card-carrying ADC governorship candidate, can command a large crowd as everybody wish it should be in Ekiti State.
Thank you very much. I think we have also across Nigeria, we saw some of the concern from Enugu State, from Zamfara,
Yes.
from Delta, and then that is the more reason why we are calling on the leadership of the ADC to put everything necessary to address the lingering issue, so that Nigerians, both at home and in the diaspora, can also flow with the process. There's no saying that there's no apprehension in the land, especially with the impending court cases. We are all worried, and so we are hoping that these issues should be resolved as quickly as possible, and then that the stakeholders should put personal interest above the collective good, and then begin to look for a peaceful resolution of all the issues at stake. And I'm sure, I am convinced from what I'm hearing, both in the diaspora in Nigeria, that that is not the only issue worrying us. I mean, in the leadership meeting, one of our leaders from Asia was very, very clear to say that the issue of the three court cases we are experiencing is worrying, but most worrying is the position of the leadership, which we have experienced so far. I mean, that's the sentiment the majority of the diaspora has expressed, and so we are looking forward for more inclusion, more fairness, more consultation, that whatever decision taken within the body of the ADC in Nigeria reflects the broader aspiration of the people. So these are the things we've heard so far from both the Nigeria and the diaspora.
And in addition, the importance of ADCDN cannot be overemphasized, especially when it comes into the issue of being the seventh geopolitical zones in Nigeria. So the same, the same priority that is placed on the rest of the 6 geopolitical zones should also be granted to the ADCDN. The importance of our involvement in the country and outside the country representing the nation cannot be diminished. We need to be part and parcel of the democratic process, which we have been for years, more than 3 decades. So we need to be involved. We need to be added into every decision that is made, not decision that is made over us. So, and I thank you very much, Honorable Chairman, for your active involvement from the word go to have brought us this far. And we pledge a very strong support, the executive, the members of the ADCDN. I'm speaking on behalf of the BOTs as well. We are all behind you, and we believe that eventually things will fall into place. And like you said, people should put the interest of the country, the interest of the party above their personal interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our distinguished Board of Trustee Chairman. It's a vote of confidence on the leadership of the ADCDN, including the leadership from the various continental bodies of America, Asia, Africa, Europe, and the Oceania. Thank you so much, Chairman, Board of Trustee.
Thank you, sir.
We hope that the ADC members, both in Nigeria and in diaspora, are following this global press conference, and we pledge to continue to put the interests of the party first. We continue to work for the full integration of the ADCDN diaspora in the political process in Nigeria, like you already mentioned. ADC is the 7th geopolitical zone of ADC under the visionary leadership of Chief Ralph Okenwosu. And since then, we've expected, and we are still expecting, that whatever applies to the 6th geopolitical zone in Nigeria, applies to the ADCDN. We need to emphasize this over and over again, that the ADCDN is not a support group. ADCDN is not, group of friends that, came together in love of ADC. Yes, we came together in love of ADC, but practically, the ADCDN is the official arm of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, referred as the 7th geopolitical zone. Of course, we are saying this for the interest of members, the interest of the public, who probably do not know the role of the ADCDN. So I think this is a little explanation, and this is a little insight, both from the members and from you, Chairman, Board of Trustee, will be able to, help bring clarity into exactly why the ADCDN, have been, reaching out based on its statutory role as enshrined in the Constitution to join hands with our compatriots in Nigeria, that the due process should be followed, that the ADCDN that prioritize inclusion should also be followed, and the diaspora ADC are also part of the inclusion. So again, thank you so much, the gentlemen of the press. I would thank you so much, our members who have logged in to follow up this global conference. We thank you also, members of the press from Nigeria who have logged in via Zoom to follow up this press conference. We urge you to please make our press briefing circulated as much as possible. We'll be sending the e-copy also to all of you in the next days. Thank you so much for attending this global conference.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.